What's a card anyway? Well, the simple answer for that comes from debate history. Debate history tells us that a card, or a piece of debate evidence, originally comes from when debaters had to read off of actual index cards and kept them in boxes. So that is where the word card comes from. And cutting a card comes from when you would actually photocopy a book and then cut out the actual quote and paste it onto a sheet of paper and write out the piece of evidence. So that is where the word or etymology of the phrase cutting a card comes from. So today, I am going to teach you how to create a piece of debate evidence. I figured that this would be pretty helpful because a lot of people don't know how to do this properly, and it's led to scenarios where even people in college debate recently are getting called out on committing ethics violations in how they've created their piece of evidence. So I'm going to talk to you today about how to find, process, and create a piece of debate evidence. So the first thing that we're going to do to create a piece of debate evidence is we're going to have to find that piece of debate evidence. So I've done this for us already. I have gone and I have found a piece of evidence called China is Not 10 Feet Tall. It is an article by Ryan Haas, not by Afrojack. And it says that Chinese hegemony is not exactly in the spot that it needs to be right now to challenge American hegemony. So we are going to take this piece of evidence and we are going to make it into a debate card. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to find a part of the article that I am going to create for a piece of evidence. I've already gone through and done this, so I know that this part is the part that I want for my piece of evidence. So I'm going to copy that for the card that I am about to create. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away from that Chrome window for a second, and I'm going to open up a Google Doc. So before I open up the Google Doc, we're going to learn the three parts to a piece of evidence. So a card or a piece of evidence has three parts. Those three parts are the tag, the cite, and the quote. The part that we are doing right now is called the quote. So we want to paste this quote into our Google document. When we paste it into our Google document, if we would just Control-V it right in, it wouldn't exactly have the right formatting. So we're going to get rid of that. And the way that we are actually going to paste this in is right-click and do paste without formatting. That's going to put this in the format of the actual document that we have here. After we do this, we can get rid of the returns, but we don't necessarily need to. But if that's what you want to do, that's what you can do. So we take this piece of evidence, and the next thing that we're going to do, this is the quote part, is we are going to underline the parts that we think are most important. So I've already done this, and I'm going to skip ahead to it actually being underlined. So you can see, here is our piece of evidence actually underlined. After your evidence is underlined, you're going to highlight it. The reason we underline and then highlight is so that we can get the shortest version of the piece of evidence possible. I've already done this as well. So you can see, here is our completed quote. You can see it's underlined and highlighted. So in the actual debate, I would only actually read the highlighted parts, but I have all of the evidence here if somebody would like to read any part of the piece of evidence that I have created. So this part, again, is called the quote. It's called the quote. The quote is what you read from the actual evidence. It is the actual scholarly work that you have during the debate. So that is the quote. The next part that we are going to have, again, is called the cite or the citation. The citation is kind of like debates MLA formatting. So I've given us some examples here, and this is kind of what it looks like. So it's the author's last name, the year of publications, and then some qualifications. Everybody does this differently. This is just how I do it. I always put the qualifications here because when I was a senior in high school, Adrienne Bravero was my lab leader, and she said qualifications, 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 and I've never dropped that. So this is the general format that you're going to follow. and I did a little sample here for, like, let's say you would quote me in a debate, this is what you would say. So we're going to go through and we are going to cite the piece of evidence that I had for us. So we're going to do the author's last name, Haas, and then 2021. And the qualifications are that they are a Brookings Institution Foreign Policy Studies chair. And then I'm just going to take this whole bit about them and put that here instead of doing the additional qualifications. Then I'm going to do the article title. Then I'm going to do the date. Then I will put in the URL. Then I will put the date accessed. And then I will put my initials. Then I go back through, bold this, highlight this, and we have effectively made our citation. So this is the citation that we will use for our piece of evidence. So I'm going to copy this, and remember, if we go back here, we've done the quote, we've done the cite, and now it's time to do the tag. So let's go back to our highlighted piece of evidence. We have our quote in now. We have our citation, and now we're going to do the tag. The tag here is a simple phrase. It's going to be 10 words or less that summarizes the whole piece of evidence. So for this, we are going to put Chinese hegemony structurally impossible, economy, military, etc. And this is going to be our tag for the piece of evidence. And after this, we have a completed piece of evidence. So this is what a piece of debate evidence would look like if we were to actually read it in a debate. So we have the tag, we have the citation, and we have the quote. So these are the three parts to a piece of debate evidence. And hopefully through this video, you learned how to find and process a piece of debate evidence, as well as create it by creating the quote, the cite, and the tag that make up a piece of debate evidence. So hopefully you can use this video to create evidence this way, and you won't have to whip out the scissors to actually cut a piece of evidence anytime soon.